Abi Webster and her brother-in-law, Carl Webster, have recently embarked on a forbidden affair in Coronation Street after finally giving in to the attraction that had been simmering since Carl first showed up in the neighborhood. What ultimately pushed Abi to surrender to her feelings for Carl was learning that Kevin had been hiding a huge secret. He pretended to still be receiving cancer treatment, even though he'd been declared cancer-free sometime earlier. Unfortunate Kevin had already suspected there was chemistry between his wife and his sibling, and he spun the false story in the hope that Abi wouldn't consider leaving him while she believed he was battling the illness. Naturally, this plan completely backfired. From their initial heated encounter, Abi and Carl have been slipping away to rendezvous in private. Kevin has been left reeling at the thought of his marriage falling apart. But since Abi keeps denying any involvement with Carl, he's had nothing solid to prove otherwise. In forthcoming episodes, the secret couple grows sloppy about hiding their meetups and risk being caught. Not by Kevin, but by someone very close to him, his friend and long-term workmate, Tyrone Dobbs. Abi receives a message from Carl and claims to Kevin that she's suffering from a headache and needs to head home. Carl is already there waiting, but Abi's conscience stops her from doing anything in the house she shares with Kevin. Carl proposes a drive instead, and they set off. At the local precinct, Tyrone catches sight of Carl's vehicle, and it's obvious he's spotted him. Carl quickly jumps out to chat, preventing Tyrone from getting near the car. Abi slides lower in the passenger seat, silently praying Tyrone hasn't noticed her. But has he? Tyrone has previously shown he's not comfortable hiding truths, especially when they could hurt the people he cares about. He was the one who informed Abi of Kevin's fabricated cancer story to prevent her from upsetting Jack by wrongly saying his father's treatment was failing. If he uncovers what's really been happening behind Kevin's back, he won't react well. Could he be the one to expose Abi and Carl's clandestine relationship to everyone? Surprise chaos caused by Betsy in Coronation Street derails Carla and Lisa's plans. Carla Connor and Lisa Swain's romance is continuing to flourish on Coronation Street, but could Lisa's daughter, Betsy, be on the verge of throwing a spanner in the works? Carla has stood firmly by Lisa's side as she's navigated therapy sessions after making a serious blunder at work. Lisa has been wrestling with grief and unresolved feelings over her late wife, Becky, who was killed in violent circumstances while serving as a police officer. At the time of her death, Becky was facing a corruption inquiry, and Lisa has been determined to uncover the full truth about what really happened. During therapy, Lisa began to suspect that Becky might indeed have been involved in wrongdoing, prompting her to quietly dig around at work for answers. Meanwhile, Carla launched her own fact-finding mission, visiting the prison to speak with Logan Radcliffe in the hope of learning more about Becky's demise. Logan did share some details, but to Carla, it seemed like another frustrating dead end, though viewers later witnessed another inmate intimidating Logan, hinting that his knowledge might actually be crucial. After all this, Lisa took a symbolic step by removing the wedding ring she had always worn, Becky's ring, declaring that her future was now with Carla and that she was ready to put the past to rest. As an early gesture to show their commitment as a family, Lisa invited Carla's nephew Ryan to move in with them, something Carla found incredibly moving. In upcoming scenes, Carla and Lisa decide to try their hand at a life drawing class together, but their plans are abruptly interrupted when Betsy reaches out in distress. Carla hurries to the factory, only to find Betsy upset over a batch of vest tops she'd been producing. She had accidentally printed the wrong logo on every single one, rendering them unsellable. Carla often finds herself cleaning up after Betsy's various crises, and she's never been tolerant of mistakes at Underworld. However, remembering Lisa's generosity towards Ryan, Carla may be tempted to show more compassion over Betsy's latest blunder. Her reaction to Lisa's daughter could play a major role in shaping the future of their relationship. And with Carla privately telling Ryan that she's planning to propose to Lisa, the pressure to keep things running smoothly is higher than ever. Coronation Street fan favorite set to leave the cobbles only days after explosive wedding twist. The wedding of Dev Alahan and Bernie Winter on Coronation Street was nothing short of classic soap chaos, with just about everything that could possibly go wrong doing exactly that. And the fireworks aren't finished yet. The ceremony had been hastily brought forward so Bernie could quietly use some of the cash gifted to Dev by his Aunt Ronnie to help clear Aadi's mounting debts. On the big day, Bernie managed to make it to the altar after a string of mishaps, only to suddenly collapse and be rushed to hospital. Doctors discovered she'd suffered an allergic reaction to the flowers in her bouquet, triggering a severe asthma attack. With their loved ones gathered anxiously around her bed, Bernie and Dev exchanged vows and rings, sealing their marriage in a way as unconventional as Bernie herself. However, there was no time for the newlyweds to enjoy married bliss. Shortly afterwards, Aadi admitted to his father that he'd run up debts while managing the family business during Dev's trip to India. Bernie was then forced to reveal her scheme to use the wedding money to bail Aadi out. To her relief, Dev reacted with surprising understanding, making it clear just how smitten he is with his new bride. But the drama continued when Aadi also confessed he was responsible for the drugs incident at his party that left Lauren in trouble, explaining the drugs had been intended for him. Lauren's anger was matched by Dev's, who promptly decided to send his son to India to start fresh with a new job. In upcoming scenes, Bernie tries to persuade Dev to offer her grandson Brody a role in the shop, but an unhappy Aadi drops a bombshell. Brody was the one who supplied the drugs at the party. With tension still simmering, Bernie suggests delaying their honeymoon so Dev can focus on repairing his relationship with Aadi. Dev agrees his son comes first, but has another idea. He believes Bernie needs a well-earned break after all the recent upheaval and suggests she take the holiday on her own. Bernie is touched by the gesture and begins preparing for her solo getaway. As Bernie heads off for some rest and relaxation, the question remains, will she return to Weatherfield anytime soon? Speaking about the unpredictable nature of her storylines, Jane Hazelgrove said, "That's what's so brilliant about Coronation Street. You never know what you're going to get until you open the script. The writers throw all sorts at you, and you just hope you can do justice to whatever they've created. Who knows what Bernie's next move will be? That's why I love playing her." Coronation Street airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available on ITVX and YouTube.